Hello everyone. I thought I'd come here today with a little video to show you how I do some cleaning in my van and keep things that I use for my hygiene sanitary. Um, yeah, I haven't really seen anyone else do this. They probably do. I mean, as far as the cleaning and deodorizing. But I don't know. I thought this would be an idea and it would be helpful to some people. It's really very useful to me, and so I thought I'd let people know. So okay, so I have two containers here. I have their, I think how what 2 quarts. So they're 64 ounces each. I got these at Dollar Tree. I've been using this one. This is a pee bottle that I use in the van, and it strictly holds urine. And this one is what I use when I brush my teeth. And I've been using this since 2019 when I first I didn't start van life in 2019. What happened was I was conducting research in the South, and my research, one of my methods was to take a road trip around the state. And so I was around the state. It was supposed to be 6 weeks, but it ended up being, it was supposed to be 2 months plus, but it ended up only being 6 weeks because the weather was just so wretched in the deep South in the summer, and I couldn't handle it, so I cut it short. But in the meantime, I learned how to go to the bathroom in my car. I had a little old Subaru at the time, and I hadn't just started sleeping in that at that time, but that was the longest stretch of time I had ever slept in a vehicle. Like I'd gone out of state and I slept in it for a couple of days here and there. But this 6 weeks on the road was that was the longest time I had ever slept in my vehicle. And this was this was before COVID, of course. So this was 2019, and when Walmarts were still open 24 hours. So what I would do generally was I would go and I would be sleeping in a Walmart parking lot somewhere, and because that's all I knew at the time. And I would get up in the middle of the night and I'd have to go to the bathroom. I'd have to pee, and I would go get out of my car and walk all the way into Walmart and go to the bathroom and come back out, and I couldn't get back to sleep. And I didn't know how to go to the bathroom in a vehicle at that time. And I remember telling my friend, I really need to get better with peeing in my car, because I need to get better with going to the bathroom in my car, because I would get up in the middle of the night. It'd be like 2-3 o'clock in the morning, and I'd have to go to the bathroom, and I'd walk all the way in there, and I couldn't get back to sleep when I got back. So I bought this. I don't know what led me to this. Maybe I saw someone on YouTube have one. I don't know what led me to getting this. But I ended up purchasing this from Dollar Tree. Both of these are from Dollar Tree. They're just containers. Before Dollar Tree turned into $1.25 Tree. So yes. So I purchased this one, and I've been using this one ever since then. And then when I moved into a van, I knew I was going to need another one, because I'm like, well, how am I going to brush my teeth? And I saw someone else using something similar. Like they would put their water inside of a container and then swish the toothbrush down in the container, and that's how they would clean it. Like they would use one container with clean water and another container to spit in. And I remember thinking oh, wow, if I have this other method that I have here, that would work for me. So I actually just use this to spit in when I'm brushing my teeth, and then I clean it out. And I have a a pressurized pump that I use to clean my toothbrush and everything in here, and then I clean both of these out. So I've been using this one for 4 years. I have not lived in a vehicle all 4 years, but I moved in my van just over a year ago, like a year and a few months ago, and I've been using this ever since. And then I used it when I was down south for that road trip, and then anytime I had slept in a vehicle after that, I had used it. And and so this one I've been using since I've been in van life, and I painted these both last year. Sometime I was actually down in the south again visiting, and a friend of mine, she has all of these because they were just clear or white actually, kind of like I don't know if you could tell, but they're not, yeah, I guess they're white. They're not see-through, but you can see, like, if you have like this full you can see it's like, okay, beaming yellow. And I want it to be a little more discreet, just because if I'm out somewhere, not that it's not natural and everyone pees and all that stuff, but just to have it a little bit more discreet. Because like I said, I was trying to stealth as much as I could, and just to make it easier to pour out, because I pour this out in a bush. Now I don't use toilet paper and put it in there. I put a toilet paper in a separate container and throw that away. So this never has like toilet paper in there or anything. It's just literally just liquid, nothing else but liquid. And so, okay, so anyway, I don't know how long I've been talking. So anyway, I painted these when I was at a friend's last year. She has a lot of paint, and I just thought one day, like, it'd kind of be cool to paint this. And so I painted it, and I retouched the paint when I went to my little sister's a couple months ago, because, eventually the paint does start to chip and wear off. And so my sister had actually had a whole bunch of different paints, because she had done a project and she was done with the paints. And I'm like, hey, I'm going to use some of this paint to just touch this up. So I redid this. So anyway, so how this works is that so when these are ready to be emptied, I take these and I dump the contents out in a bush somewhere. So I'll dump this out like in a bush. I've already dumped this out. I just dumped this out, and I just dump this out. So when that's done, what I do is I remove the lids, of course. Some people use baking soda and vinegar, and I think I've tried that once, but that didn't really work for me. I didn't really care for it that much. I like using this method a lot better. So what I do is I dump those out, and I take water and I splash a little water in there, and just to kind of give it a good rinse. Every once in a while, and you see I have this rug down here. That's just for sanitary reasons, to keep the place sanitary. I am living in a 10 square foot van, and that's just to keep it. I use this strictly for sanitary reasons, and then I take this rug up after I'm done. So I take this and I give it a rinse. I give it a shake, give it a good rinse, and I take this and I give it a shake. And what I'll usually do is pour the toothbrush one into this one here, just because it's a little more sanitary. So I give that a rinse, and then I take this and I pour this out. So I'm at a park and there's a tree right over there, so I'm gonna go pour this out, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I pour this out. It's completely empty. Like, I'll show you, there's nothing in there. And the yellow you're seeing is not from urine. It's actually from paint. And so what I do next is, every once in a while, I'm gonna do the two different methods. So every once in a while, I will put a little squirt of like soap, some type of soap in there, pour a little bit more water to give it a deeper clean when I feel like it needs a deeper clean. I don't do that often because I will take it in and clean it. But usually if I feel like, okay, I haven't been able to take this in and give it a good clean and scrub, at the gym or somewhere, if I'm at my sister's house or something, I'll take some soap and I will give that a shake. You can see it sudsing up. I'll take it, give it a little more of a shake. Some water in there. Give it a shake to clean it out a little bit more. And then I'll let it sit for a second while I'm working on this one now. So putting this soap in here and shaking it, I don't do that often. This method, the one I'm going to show you now, is the one I do the most. So I poured a little bit of water in there. There's about maybe a quarter of a cup, if that much. You don't need much water in there. What I do next is I commission my essential oils. So this here is where I keep my essential oils, are all in here. And then I have tinctures up in here. I keep my essential oils with me on the road, of course, because I have to have them, and I keep them in a ice, like that mini ice chest, because if I'm someplace where it's too hot, which I have been, like California or the deep south, I use little freezer blocks, those little those reusable freezer blocks, and I put them inside of the container to keep them cool, because if you don't and they get too hot, it could kill all the therapeutic use of the essential oils. So I took my essential oils out that I'm using already. Now I have 3 different, like there's like kind of like a hierarchy with my essential oils. So these store-bought ones that I will use for this. I have other ones like Revive and doTERRA. I don't use those for these. I only use store-bought essential oils for these because they're not, a top quality. They're pretty good for a store-bought oil, but I will definitely not use my Revive or my doTERRA essential oils to clean these. I use those ones on my skin or like in the steam room or something of that nature. So what I do next is, okay, so this one would be done. So you see all this soap? That's a lot of soap. And that's just from like a small squirt and some water. So what I'll do is I'll put a little more water in there to kind of get that soap out. And then I'll take it to the tree. I'll take it back to the tree and dump that out. So I'll be right back. Okay, so that's dumped out. This is the one I use for my teeth. So when that's done, what I do is I'll put a little more water in there. And remember, that one already has a little bit of water, like a quarter of a cup. So what I do, if I don't squirt it with a little bit of soap, I will use my essential oil. So I always use tea tree because of its cleansing properties. I'll put a few drops of tea tree in there, and then I'll take this and give it a shake. So the tea tree gets all around in there and it's very cleansing. I'll take this one and I'll put just a tiny little tea tree in there also. Hope you can, that's still in the frame, okay. 3 drops of tea tree. I'll put some tea tree in there. Give that a little shake. I didn't mean for this video to be this long, by the way, but I am long-winded, so, but I be trying. So then I'll take this one that I used for my teeth and I'll just pour it in here, so I only have to make one trip to the tree to pour it out. So then I'll take this, and there's about maybe a half a cup of water and oil in there, essential oils, and I'll take this and I'll throw it out at the tree, and I'll be right back. Okay, so that's done at the tree. So the final step, or the next to the last step, is I'll put a little bit more water in each one, just like a dab, like that much. Because remember, you don't want to put too much water because you're going to be filling it with liquid, your own liquid. So then I'll take that, I'll put that in there. Then I'll find another one of my oils. So here I have some clove, some citronella, or jasmine, and I will bless each of these with some drops, depending on my mood, or it could be depending on the season. Now, because we're in the summer and there are mosquitoes around, I believe that citronella can be helpful with warding off mosquitoes. Even if I don't really have any nearby, I think that maybe they could smell it from far away and won't come by. So I'll put the citronella, but I will always make sure that the oils that I put are, they're pretty strong. So I'll take some citronella and I'll put 2 drops in there. And sometimes I'll put citronella in the one I use to brush my teeth as well, but most of the time I will use like a different scent. So right here, we're gonna use this jasmine. So I'll put a couple drops of jasmine in there, and I'll finish it off with just a little more tea tree, just for the heck of it. Just a little more. Give it a drop, what the heck. And then I'll take this, give it another little shake just to get the oil, or the essential oils and the water well all around there. I'll give that a shake, and then I'll lift it up and I'll smell it. And it really does smell really good in there. It doesn't smell like urine's been sitting in there for a day, or like, you know, toothpaste or whatever. All my toothpaste and whatever. But it does smell really good. Now you can, if you decide that you want to do this, you can change it up. You can add more oils, add less oils. I mean, I don't think you can really add less oils because there's not many in there already. But you can, of course, you know, make it yours. So there's one other thing I do after this, and that is I wipe it down. So I take usually a baby wipe because they're disposable, and I will usually start with the one that I use to brush my teeth first, and I'll kind of just wipe it in here, because if you don't, what happens is that there's water kind of hanging out on the edge, there's liquid hanging out on the edge around here, and when you go to open it next time, that could kind of drip all over you, and you don't want that to happen. Then I'll take this one, and remember, you do have to take this in and wash it out, like in the sink somewhere, you know, at times, twice a week, once a week, whatever. Don't ever just not rinse it out. But this will definitely works otherwise. So let me throw this out. And I get another baby wipe or something of the sort, and I clean my own hands. My baby wipes, I use the recipe that Mia from, I think, Van Life, Simple Life, or I don't know, I know she's had several names for her channel, but she's not vanning anymore. But she gave a recipe of like peroxide and Dr. Bronner's And so she mixes that in with her baby wipes, so they're always like really cleansing, and it's not just kind of like, you know, a standard baby wipe recipe. So then I take this, close this up, make sure this one's closed, and these live under my back seat here, my couch. I know I haven't done a van tour yet, and maybe I will. And this is just all other bathroom stuff here. Toilet paper, flushable wipes, whoops. And this is a mixture of oregano, oil of oregano, and isopropyl. So it's just a hand sanitizer when I don't, like in the middle of the night, I'll use that. But otherwise, I usually use a baby wipe. So then these live underneath here. I hope you can see that. I don't know. Here, I'll change this here. And I'll put this here. And then this, whoops, there's some Rose of Jericho on there. I lift this up and I put this in here like this. And this goes back underneath my seat and everything is nice and clean. And I put my essential oils back from whence they came. And I'll do it again tomorrow or the day after that. Put this back there, put my card back there, my mugwort back in there. Let this go back underneath. Oops. And I put this back underneath. And everything's clean. All right, like I said, I did not intend for this video to be 20 minutes, but it is. So let me know what you think, and I would love to know your thoughts. And if you have any suggestions or what your method is for cleaning and deodorizing that has to do with your hygiene. See you later.